Hello and welcome. Today I'd like to show you the function of the Battery Guard 3000 programmable battery rundown protection system from Intellitec products. The Battery Guard 3000 consists of two major components. One is the controller. That's where all the logic and inputs and outputs come out of. The other one is a relay, which, since it's mounted directly behind this steering wheel and kind of up under it, it's kind of hard to see in the darkness there, but it's there. So what does this system do? Well, it's kind of inferred the name. It's a battery rundown protection system. It keeps you from having a dead battery. Now, we installed this on a boat to demonstrate how it could be useful on a boat. So what are some of the things that can kill a battery on a boat? Well, of course, your blower motor, your bilge, your stereo, your lights, but especially on a party boat like this, the stereo. That's the culprit of a lot of dead batteries. People get out on the lake, they're enjoying themselves, they're swimming, having a few drinks, and they forget all about the battery. And they don't start their boat in time. Then they got to either have a buddy or pay somebody to come out and tow them off the lake. Sometimes it's a big lake, and that can be a real problem. And sometimes it's not the lake, it's the ocean, and that's an even bigger problem. I don't like sharks. So, what are some unique features of the Battery Guard 3000 over and above some of the other battery rundown protection systems out there? Well, one of the coolest things is we can shed loads. Well, what do I mean by shed loads? Well, we can set up in a graphic user interface called a GUI here. We can set up so that you have different alarm conditions. And one of the alarm conditions I have set up in this application is so that after 1 minute, after your battery voltage drops to a certain level, it'll actually just turn the stereo off completely. All power will drop to the stereo. You can set that up so that your battery memory will stay on. I don't have it set up in this application because it's just not necessary. But once that first alarm condition is set off, another alarm condition is set off, which, as I have it in this application, starts another type of buzzer. So it lets you know that you're getting closer to having your electrical loads completely cut off. Well, how do we do that? How do we disconnect those loads? We have a large 100 amp relay, and I have that relay between this bank of loads, all the electrical loads on the boat, and the battery. So you have one large relay and two outputs on the control. So overall, you can completely disconnect your electrical loads to your boat or your car or your work truck or whatever it may be and completely protect your battery. Where this is critical nowadays is things like anti-idling laws. But for my money, being out on the lake, it just keeps me or my friends from killing the boat, killing the battery in the boat. How do we interface with the control? Well, the graphic user interface, which is the program side, and then a programming box, which works through a serial port in RS-232. It's a pretty neat little system. So, like I said before, battery voltage is going to drop from our load, so we're going to monitor that here on our meter. So we can see we have 12.5 volts. For demonstration purposes, I set the threshold, and hopefully you can see that, to 12.4 volts. Let me see if I can zoom in or zoom out of that. Well, you'll have to trust me. It's 12.4 volts. Well, why is it demonstration purposes? Because that's actually kind of high. In a boat like this, you'd want to set it at like 11.5 volts, and at 11.5 volts, the boat's still going to start. Hello, Mr. XP. Okay, so we're going to monitor voltage. The control, that guy, this guy, the one with the big blue wire going to it, that's just a cable, is going to monitor voltage too. So when we drop to 12.4 volts, which is going to happen really fast, and this buzzer here on the control is going to make some noise. And it's going to say, hey, you need to come start your battery. But we're not going to do that. We're going to let it shut down. So the first minute, it's just going to scream at us. Then after that first minute, it's going to turn our radio off. So I'm not going to play the stereo, but I'll put the power to it so you can see that it is on. So at the first minute, it's going to shut our stereo off. Another buzzer is going to come on. Then after that minute, it's going to completely disconnect our electrical loads. So let me show you how that works. So begins the buzzing. I'm going to turn some other loads on to make sure that we don't bounce off the battery, and sometimes that can happen. You'll have the battery recover a little bit and it'll reset the timer, which is what you want, but for demonstration purposes we're going to make sure that it drops. Another interesting feature, and this is an added security feature, and we can see here our LED light is flashing. That LED light on that button, that's our reset button. And that's telling us, that's giving us a visual cue that we have an alarm condition. So what else is neat about this system? Well, if you don't want someone taking your car or driving your boat or using the functions on your car, your boat, or your work truck, as long as it's been 60 seconds since your last disconnect, at least in this application or the way I have it set up, it could be as little as 0. You can force a disconnect. Now here we've gone to our second alarm condition. The radio is shut off and our tone has changed. It's giving us a sense of urgency. Come start the boat. But we're not going to start the boat. We want you to see that it'll disconnect. And you're going to hear the relay, the main relay. I call it chunking. It's going to switch over. By the way, that's a mechanically latched relay. What does that mean? It means that no power is on it to maintain either open or closed. It pulses that relay, which is great because there's less load and it's less likely to burn out, and it's more stable. So pretty soon here we're going to be totally disconnected. I'm sorry for the loud screaming, but it is kind of annoying. I'll try to mute this guy a little bit. There, muted it a little bit. And there you hear the chunk, and we're disconnected. If you came out here and you saw this blink, you know you had a battery disconnect. Now, what do you do about it? Oh, it's as simple as hitting this button. It's going to start screaming again because, of course, our battery voltage is low. We start our boat because we've got plenty of juice to do so, and we watch the voltage come up. And it's going to keep screaming for a second to make sure that we have enough voltage. And those are all things you can set in your graphic user interface. Now, we've reset. Everything is cool. We turn off our loads. And we turn off our boat. And that's it. That's the function of the Battery Guard 3000. If you have a problem killing batteries in a vehicle or work vehicle, this is a great system. It's programmable. It allows you to do some load shedding, which really no other system on the market allows you to do, and it gives you a separate 100 amp mechanically latching isolated relay. And you know what's great about that is it's robust, and it's really going to allow you to do more than some of the other battery rundown protection systems on the market. So hope you enjoyed this. You know, probably bored you to death, but you know, this is how it works. So, and it does work. And thank you for watching.